Partial, and I'm talking to you from Israel, and I want to invite you to come and visit this very important and precious piece of land. You know, there's so many advantages to coming and visiting Israel in person, and not the least important reason is that you get to see the size. You know, I remember when Benjamin Netanyahu came and addressed our Congress, and he turned to Vice President Joe Biden and he said, well, Delaware may be smaller than us, maybe Rhode Island, but not many more than that. When you get in a tour bus and you begin to see the distance between Jerusalem and Bethlehem, you see how close it is. When you begin to see the distance between Tel Aviv and Mount Carmel, you see how close it is. And when you begin to see Mount Carmel and the Golan Heights and Tiberias, you begin to see how close it is. And all of a sudden you begin to understand that arguments about borders take on a profoundly important significance because it has everything to do with Israel's security. Most importantly, it has everything to do with Israel's history. How marvelous it is to drive through some of the cities here and to understand who lived here first and the wonderful relationship that the Jews have had with the Arabs. Come and work with us. We'll be happy to give you full citizenship. As an example, there's a distinct small minority called the Druze, very unique part of the Arab community. They actually have representation in the Knesset. Do you think Jews would have the opportunity to have representation in a Muslim Knesset or a Muslim parliament? Probably not. But then let me tell you also as a Christian how this is important. I'm talking to you today from Mount Carmel. So it's marvelous to stand up on that windy mountain to see where the prophet Elijah took on the pagan prophets. Pagan prophets used to build up on high spots. So it's no surprise that he took on those prophets here at this high mountain. And so when he said to the prophets, let's just see whose God is real. And so he calls on those pagan prophets and they shout out. And of course their God doesn't come because he's not the God who's there. But the God of all creation, the one Lord God, Jehovah, does show up in a big way. And he lets his presence be known. So here I am in the present, looking back at the past on what happened on Mount Carmel. But at the same time, on that windy rooftop up there, I can look out over the valley where the Battle of Armageddon is going to take place. I get excited because I know how that battle ends, and I know who the victor is. So in one spot in Israel, I can see the past, the present, and the future. Where else in the world can you do that? So here's my invitation to you. Come to Israel. You'll never be the same again.